Alright, so today we're going to talk about composite windows and why they are the best in terms of ease of installation, cost, durability, and availability. Now let's get right into it. Comparing different window types, composite windows usually do have a higher upfront cost. Based on our research, they typically range from $300 to $1,200 per window, with install costs being between $1,100 and $1,900. In comparison, vinyl windows are usually cheaper up front, with them costing around $300, while aluminum and wooden windows being somewhere in the middle. When you factor in the upfront costs, most people would obviously choose the cheaper option. However, each material comes with different long-term expenses, which is where composite windows begin to stand out. While composite windows usually cost more upfront, they are more cost effective over time. They have a longer lifespan, which means less maintenance and fewer replacements. Unlike windows, they don't require frequent painting, sealing, or repairs, which reduces maintenance costs over time. Compared to aluminum, composite windows are much more energy efficient. This is important because windows account for about 25 to 30% of homes' heating and cooling energy loss. Because of the improved performance, composite windows can help lower energy bills over time. So when you consider lifespan, maintenance, and energy savings, composite windows provide the best overall value, even though the initial investment is higher.
One of the main reasons composite windows are widely available is because they are made using engineered products rather than a single natural resource. Composite window frames typically combine materials such as polymers, resins, and sometimes even recycled materials to create a durable product. Because these materials are engineered, manufacturers have more flexibility in how they produce them compared to natural materials like wood. This allows companies to maintain consistent production throughout the year without relying on the availability of a single raw material. As a result, many window manufacturers have expanded their composite window product lines to meet increasing demand in the construction industry. With more companies producing these windows, they are commonly stocked by distributors, home improvement stores, and building suppliers, which makes them way easier for contractors and homeowners to find them when they need them. When selecting windows for a building project, one of the factors that should always be considered is availability of the material. Each of the materials our group had to choose from, which is wood, vinyl, aluminum, composite, has its own manufacturing process and supply chain that can affect how easily the windows can be obtained by contractors, builders, or homeowners. Wood windows, for example, rely on quality, depending on forestry supply and market demand. And then aluminum and other metal windows depend on mining, processing, and global metal markets, which can also impact how consistently they are stocked by suppliers. Because of these factors, the availability of these traditional materials can sometimes be less predictable. Composite windows, however, are becoming much more common in the market and are increasingly available through many manufacturers and suppliers.
Hi, I'm Evan, and I'm with the construction group, and our main thing is composite windows and why they're better than all the other windows here. So I'm in Menards right now, and let's go look at some composite windows. Start with the competition. We have a wood window frame here, and the real big cons of them for durability is they take constant painting, constant care, and they can last a long time as long as you keep care of them, but we're looking for something that you don't really have to always babysit, so let's keep it going. All right, next we got vinyl windows, and while they look nice, a little more classier than wood, but they do have seal failures often, and they're susceptible to heat and they warp a lot. So, is it really worth it at the end? All right. When choosing windows, you have a lot of options, but composite's your best. See, they have improved durability and strength with minimal expansion and resistance and more longevity, as well as efficiency and maintenance. Thermal performance, zero upkeep, and sustainability, which all sounds good to me. I'd choose that over anything else. Now, aesthetically, they're very versatile. They could be put in many different houses, like different type of siding. They work well with windows and doors and everything else. So that's why you should choose composite.
My name is Skylar Gamble, and I'm going to be going over the ease of installation for composite windows. So first, we have to go over how much they weigh. So according to Liam Cope, the founder of Engineer Fix, an 1/8 inch of glass weighs roughly 1.64 pounds per square foot, while a 1/4 inch of glass weighs 3.27 pounds per square foot, which is roughly double the 1/8 inch of glass. So if we're using Home Depot's Anderson 100 series as our example window, which is a 30 inch by 54 inch single hung composite window, which that's the dimensions on that is actual rough opening of the window and not the actual dimensions. For the actual dimensions, it's 29.5 by 53.5. So we take those two numbers, times each other, and then divide it by 12 to get 11 square feet for our area. Then we take that times 3.28 pounds per square feet, which we get by doubling our 1/8 inch of glass, assuming that it's a double pane, which then we get 36 pounds as our result. So we want to take 36 pounds from 53.5 pounds, which gives us 17.5 pounds for just the frame alone, which if we're comparing that to the JELD-WEN V2500 series, which is also a single hung, but it's made out of vinyl, it weighs 36.5 pounds, which is roughly double just the frame of the other window. Next, we're going to be going over the installation. So you're going to need some tools for this. You need a circular saw, a fine-toothed blade or masonry blade, polyurethane-based construction adhesive, finishing nails if they're needed, and a level. For protection, you're going to need gloves and safety glasses. So now time for the prep and steps. So first, you want to prepare the substrate with the fine-tooth blade of the circular saw. And if possible, or if it's needed, you want to notch for precision. Next, you want to apply flashing after cleaning up the area. This is important to make sure that your window actually fits. Any dust or debris that may have come from inside or outside the house is not inside the rough opening. Next, you want to ensure that the sill is level by using the level. Next, you want to dry fit the window into place. Make sure there's a little bit of space and then set it to the side. Now you want to apply adhesive, which is where the window is going to connect to the rough opening. Afterward, you want to place and secure the window and use finishing nails if it is needed. Next, you need to check the sashes. Next, you want to ensure the window is even. Afterward, you want to fill in any gap that you can see to make sure that no bugs, air, or water can fill in through those gaps. Afterward, you want to measure the height. Next, you want to cut a sill adapter to size. Next up is another crucial step, where you drill weep holes or drain holes, as some other people call them, to get rid of any moisture that might come into the window. Afterward, you want to install a trim, and finally, you want to finish up with caulking the inside of the window. So I've gotten these steps from Lowe's and Engineer Fixing once again.